Hey, what's going on, folks? It's still April. Beautiful, cool morning here out in Western Massachusetts. I'm just north of Amherst, Slamhurst, if you know, you know. And we're looking for a couple things today. Most importantly, at least to me, is I'm hoping to see Lygodium palmatum, the so-called climbing fern, which we'll see what we can see. If not, we're still out here. It's still a beautiful day, and right in front of us, coming up amongst the trails of Michella repens, you got a nice little ranunculus here. You got Coptis, trifolia, three-leaf goldthread. All those little white things are actually the sepals, the anthers, stamens, I should say, which you can hopefully see. Getting that a little closer. The stamens are those little white things, and the yellow things that actually resemble what you traditionally think of as stamens are actually little modified petals, staminodes, if you would. Little hooked style there on top of the green ovary. That's what the leaves look like, hence the name three-leaf goldthread. Unrelated to golden seal, although I believe in the same family. They got a little golden rhizome down there in the soil. And coming up with Maanthemum canadens in bud. Furthest along one I've seen so far. Most of them are still on this stage. In fact, you really zoom out, you can see just how prevalent that plant is. There's some more Coptis trifolia right there. But nice, lush little forest floor. Got some fiddleheads popping up, some ferns. So hopefully we can go see this Lygodium. Although I guess, it's an evergreen fern, so it shouldn't really matter what time of year. Likes to go with poison ivy, which is why I'm kind of coming out to try to do this early. Entire forest makeup around here. As you can see, we've got some beech trees. Mostly just white pine, though. Walked through a little swampy section. And yeah, we'll see what else there is to see. Best of luck. And now this type of thing is always nice for me to come down into. What you got here is a nice big old grove of mountain laurel, Kalmia latifolia. We'll get in there in a second. Coming up with Tsuga canadensis, one of my favorite trees. Kalmia latifolia, this guy will be going off, we're talking June, maybe even July, probably June. Beautiful white little sonar dish flowers on the thing. When it does go off, big bunches. I mean, this entire stand will be lit up real nice. Evergreen, which I guess where it gets that name Laurel from, had a really nice trip out to western New Hampshire, where they got a whole little park dedicated to rhododendron maximum. But while I was there, it was basically groves of this, and then rhododendron maximum grows a little bit bigger with darker leaves, bigger leaves on the thing, just gracing this entire grove, just white and pink tinged flowers. Quite beautiful, quite fragrant smelling. I come back around here. I was seeing this on the way in, and I was going to tell you about it, but it's over here too, so I might as well tell you about it now. Real cool member, the family, Arvernse. You get your little Panax trifolius here, your little dwarf ginseng. Actually, kind of coming up everywhere. It's a real neat plant. Hopefully, I'll be able to see it in bloom in a couple weeks. I'm going to shoot a video on Mount Wachusett, which was actually the first time I ever came in contact with this one. Not nearly as rare as Panax quinquefolius, the so-called American ginseng, but still a real interesting plant. And this little patch of it behind me too. We're gonna keep trudging on here. Oh, look at these guys! Some red F's. Notophthalmus viridi. Is that your scientific name? Two of them, just chilling, but 6 inches apart because though they're amphibians, I'm not gonna make a gay frogs joke. You get the idea. I do believe that. What am I talking about? It's going to make a joke about, the chemicals in the water turning the frogs gay joke. Notophthalmus viridi, red F'd. These are, oh God, I saw these last year and I remembered the entire spiel for them. This is the juvenile stage where they're, you know, they've hatched out of the water. Look at this guy go. They've hatched out of the water and they're juveniles now. And then if I'm not mistaken, they go right back into the water. And I mean, as you can see, these guys are cute as shit. Look at this little guy. Red efts. It's the common eastern salamander is the actual species, but they call these specific life stages the efts. Really cool little amphibians. We're having a bit of difficulty getting to where I need to go to. In fact, there's a big river, not big, but big enough that I can't really cross it over across the way. But I've you know, we're gonna see what we can do. Get another spot I can go to after this where they might have the might be able to see this fern growing, but that's a little more it's like on a like a botanical garden sort of thing. So I'd really, even though it's right in the area where this is native to, I'd really rather show it to you out in the cut. Say goodbye to the little eft, cute little bastards. Yeah, see, look, there you go. There's a dwarf ginseng in bloom. So again, Aureliaceae, gonna have flowers in parts of 5 here. This is actually in the same order as carrots, Apiaceae. 5 little stigmas poking out of the thing. Nice undersides. Yeah, you could convince me that that's a distant relative of a carrot. So these are 3 leaves. So even though they're palmate, they're in segments of 5. The general form factor here is, you know, shoots up from a little rhizome down here. Trifolius, that's where that comes from. And then the, you know, topped by the little flowers. They'll have little berries on the thing when it goes to fruit. It's a great little flower. These things are everywhere. Nice spot for them. Not a terribly rare thing, just not something you see absolutely everywhere. Got to come out to a nice lush forest like this. So we crossed where we needed to, and as you can see, we're actually out of a forest now into a nice little damp meadow. You got what could this be? Is this are you a willow? Maybe some kind of willow, something in Salicaceae. Maybe a populus. I'm not quite sure. I'm not very good with Salicaceae. So we'll follow this seemingly, wasn't unmarked, they just had a sign. I guess this goes to this is still all public land. I was kind of worried that I wouldn't be able to get over here, but ooh, look at that. Get some Equisetum, probably arvernse, the field horsetail. This is the kind of the common one. These are the sporophylls. These are the fertile shoots coming up. So what it'll do is it'll send these up to distribute spores, because these are you know, these are a base of lineage of fern right here. All right, I'm gonna put up a little short about these pretty soon. I saw them someplace else. So this is what the spores come out of, and it'll shoot this up achlorophyllus, and then it will send up this little, you know, bunch of whisk-looking leaves a little bit later in the season. But they're real cool. A lot of people see them; they kind of blend in. But when they really, you know, once you dial in on them, oh, you can see. I mean, they're just aligning the entire edge of this trail here. That's funny. You see one, and they almost blend right in, and then you start seeing a whole bunch of them. Those are cool. Equisetum arvernse is like the field horsetail. Pretty common. Some of these get huge, you know, down in Mexico, Central America, South America. They got some that get damn near, you know, tree size. Nice. All right, it was becoming evident that I had gotten turned around almost completely. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna drive around the corner here. We're gonna see if there's another way to go over to the spot we want to be at. And we'll go from there. We can always go over to this other spot if we have to, but I'll examine all options, you know. And looks a little looks a little worse for wear, but there's a nice little Amelanchier here, probably just Amelanchier laevis. Oh, there's a guy in there. I wonder what he's doing. But yeah, these look like they've gotten rained on pretty hard. And indeed, it has been raining pretty hard. Nice little member of the rose family. Nice alternative to Pyrus calariana, the calorie pear. Lots of species of amelanchier. Nowhere near as many species of amelanchier as there are species of Crataegus, though. Also, you know, white flowered, woody rose. But yeah, let's really see about getting over to this other spot. It's already 10:30, and I still had, you know, one other spot that I was going to for a completely unrelated reason over here. So we'll kind of hustle. We'll hustle along here. But amelanchier, those are nice. They like coming up on the edges of wetlands. At least Lavis does. Okay, a bit further on down the road, we get another spot we can go look at up over here. So we'll see what there is to see. I'll check in with you if I find it, and if not, we may just have to shrug this one off and appreciate, you know, what we did get to see. So we'll see what happens. Well, goddamn, it's certainly looking worse for wear. But here's our fern. This is Lygodium palmatum. It was here, looking like hell. Climbing up, what is this? This looked like Leonia Ligustriana, one of the huckleberry, Ericaceae. And in fact, it's actually pretty swampy through here. All this low growth, I'm gonna go ahead and guess that that's just the dieback from last year climbing everything. And even though it is persistent, and this is a hardy fern, I'm guessing were you to come back here, you know, were you to come back here in the summer, things would be looking a little bit more lush. Lygodium in the family Lygodiaceae, used to be in the family Schiziaceae. I mean, it's going all the way back through here. My only regret is that I think that this would just be more impressive to see in the summertime. But you can see there's the vining habit, and that's a fern, my friend. No fertile fronds on the thing. Let's see if we can find some around that have maybe started growing for the year. I might have to just come back here and really check this out in the summer. But yeah, we found it. Let me go see if I can find something a bit more whelming, because this is kind of underwhelming to see it like this. Still really cool, obviously. Okay, so it does seem to me that this is pretty much the status of all of them. I'm kneeling down in a puddle right now, so I guess these like, you know, mossy substrate, typically laid over sand or something acidic. And I'm getting the picture. These look like they do die back, you know, pretty dang far in the winter. Look at that texture, that top of that leaf there. It's nice. The sporophylls look like little boomerangs and are much smaller. These are the vegetative leaves. Flip that guy over. Obviously, since these are dimorphic ferns, you're not going to expect to see any sori under there. Palmatum, you know, simply because I guess it looks like a little hand. And I mean, you follow this guy up and up and up. Maybe these were, oh yeah, we got sori. Well, last year's sori. So these were the sporophylls up here. So these are what this thing was dropping its fronds off of. And again, these aren't necessarily in a quote unquote weird lineage of ferns. Like, these are leptosporangiate ferns. I think they're, if not core, polypodiopsida, you know, something adjacent to that. A cool little habitat these guys are coming out of. This is different than what we were looking at before in the woods back where we were. But then again, I wasn't able to get over to the spot where I knew these were occurring. However, I looked for these next to my house, you know, where they allegedly have it, and I know people who have seen it, you know, nearby my place, and it makes sense to me now why I didn't see it. I wasn't looking for the right things, but seeing how this habitat is and seeing the sympatric species around, you get some high brush blueberry, you get the sphagnum, or that's not sphagnum, sphagnum down here, and seeing the community that these are kind of growing in. I think if I go back a little later in the year, I'll be able to find it. No clue how high up in the trees these get. I guess these were super common at one point, and then they were collected as Christmas decorations. I'm not sure what they were using them for. Here's some more. It's actually everywhere over here. Once you get into what they evidently like, they're kind of everywhere. So I mean, as the crow flies, we're only like 5 minutes from the little woods we were tooling around in before. I'll probably just cut down on some of the nonsense from that. But yeah, Lygodium, palmatum, the American climbing fern, the Hartford fern, indeed Hartford, where, you know, again, somewhere near Amherst, we're in the Connecticut River Valley, I'll tell you that for sure. And so is Hartford. And again, like, this used to be a pretty abundant species. I guess agriculture has a way of being particularly detrimental to it. And I mean, everything around here, you're in the CT Valley, you're on that good fertile soil. In fact, acidic soil would be unusual for this area as far as I know. I'm not sure exactly what we're on, but then again, it's kind of boggy here, so that might be influencing it. I digress. It never really seemed to bounce back, because I guess it really needs the combination of like a low shrub on the edge of a woodland. It can't really tolerate the shade, which for me is weird for a fern, and it's rather abundant down in like southern Appalachia, Black Mountains. You're out there near like Frozen Head in Tennessee. It's rather abundant, but here, yeah, in New England, it's been completely extirpated from the state of Vermont, and it's considered rather unusual for Massachusetts. Not so sure about Connecticut. Probably a little bit more common, especially, you know, you head due south of here. Probably considered a bit more common. And looking around, yeah, I do get the sense that poison ivy could certainly make its presence known in a habitat such as this. In fact, I think that's a little poison ivy down there. If not, you know, sometimes it's a little too early to tell. So that's interesting. Really cool that you get to see last year's sorry on the thing. And yeah, just coming up with a bunch of huckleberries and blueberries. Kind of my, I know it doesn't look like much now, but maybe I'll put a little picture of it, you know, if I'm able to find it, or if I do find the population close to my house. That's one plant down for today, and it's not even noon. So we're gonna go a little further down the road, down into a swamp, and my orchid buddy's looking for a species of Claytonia. So maybe the next episode will be me finding Claytonia virginiana, or virginica, whatever it is. Again, common species down south, formerly more abundant here in the Northeast, but you know, on the decline, hasn't really bounced back. Lygodium, palmatum. Oh, I will say also, if you're down in the south or maybe the Midwest, you probably get Lygodium japonicum and then Lygodium microphylla. I don't think either of them look much like this, but they're same genus. Those are actually kind of, I guess, pretty bad invasives in some parts of the country, but not this guy. You got to go down. I'll put the range map up like I do. But, you know, the southern Appalachian trending used to be pretty common in New England too. Just never was really able to bounce back. And the vast majority of this genus, and I believe the entire family, Lygodiaceae, pretty much all tropical. This one's the oddball. But, you know, I could go on. Maybe we'll just cut to, by the time I'm editing this, maybe I'll have a chance to have had come back out and seen this thing again. Love that leaf texture though. God damn, what a cool plant. Anyway, I think we'll cut it off here. I'm not sure if I was allowed to park my car where I parked it, so I think I'm gonna go hustle on back there, and we'll head on down to our next location. Take it easy, folks. Have a wonderful day.
Several months later.
Hey guys, just following up on a plant we technically already covered. Standing at the edge of a nice swampy river here in central Mass. Just kind of went bust on another location I was looking at, but whatever. Figured I'd come down here a little ways down the road and just follow up on a plant that I talked about way back in April that just was, I felt, unimpressive in the video that I showed you. So this right here in front of you is Lygodium palmatum, all right, which you already know. I just would have told you, because if you're watching the same video. This is the so-called climbing fern, Hartford fern. I guess those are two. I guess that's it. Predominantly, you know, tropical group of ferns. But this one, you know, grows here in New England, formerly much more abundant than it is now. No sporophytes on the thing yet, but as you can see, despite the fact that this is a vine, you know, despite the fact that you can clearly see this is no more than a vine coming out of the ground, this is a fern. Lygodiaceae is the family, formerly Schizaceae, Schizales. I can never pronounce that order correctly, but actually I was under the impression this one needed full shade. There's one right there dead center. They're kind of all over this little section of the trail, and to my bewilderment and at first frustration, they're not really climbing up on anything like you would expect. They kind of trail along the ground, you know, every once in a while, kind of hiking up, like they'll hike up over some of the herbaceous plants. But yeah, that's a fascinating one. Still no sporophylls on the thing. I would happily have shown you those if you know, need be. Anyway, I'm gonna try and cram in one more site today. Nice poison ivy. I'm pretty bummed I didn't get to find what I was looking for at the other site, but if you keep up with the videos, you know that some good stuff has come out recently. As of when I'm filming this, as of a couple days ago, yesterday maybe, I'm losing track of time, I saw, you know, a couple lifers, and we're still chugging along. So anyway, just wanted to give you a little follow-up. This is actually the site that I came to originally. So if you watch the beginning of the video, where I'm at in the beginning of the video is this site. I just must have missed it coming through, and I can see why. It's not a big plant. Yeah, you can see climbs a little bit. I don't know, maybe it dies. It seems to die back really far in the winter. At least that's what I heard from a couple of the state botanists. But it's here in abundance. I'm surprised, because allegedly it needs a much more open habitat, but maybe this is just the edge, and I can see that the habitat does open up quite a bit over there, and maybe that's where it's kind of getting its stronghold. And so anyway, just a quick one. Figured I'd do a follow-up on that, and take it easy.